Hi guys, thank you so much for being here, and I really do hope you're doing well. You know I have a bag and box problem. I love them, I'm addicted to them. And today I'm going to bring you yet another. This one is a bag. This is the Highlander M.50 rucksack. Let me turn around so I can show you. It's a 50 litre rucksack, and its large internal spaces mean that you can carry a lot more for your 50 litres than you can do with other packs. It is a very comfortable wear as well. Let me show you more about that internal capacity. I'm going to take out what it's full with right now, and I literally have in there everything I need to survive. Okay guys, I'm going to show you what's in this pack. It's going to take me a while to unload it all. That's how much is in there. So what I'm going to do is speed up the footage right now. I'll put a list up on the screen of what's actually included. It's not my my full pack, because I've recently been camping. I've taken things out of there that I didn't need on that particular camp, and I don't know if I've put them back just yet. Right, that is the pack unloaded. I was right, I don't have everything there, but it's a good selection, so I'll just talk you through what I've got, because it's quite fun. I'll just unmount you guys from over here. So in that pack there, I managed to get a pack of over trousers for if it gets particularly wet, a DD camping hammock, a DD XL tarp. I managed to get a dynamo wind-up lantern, 2 walkie-talkies, that's just my tinder box there, with a spork on top, my first aid kit, emergency blanket, that's my inhaler right there, always spare medication, 2 bandanas, that's a 4-season sleeping bag there, that's a big bulky sucker, and that had no problem going in there. I've also got some 6-inch yellow ABS plastic tent pegs right there. Next to that, I don't know if you can see it right here, we've got a large selection of paracord, and next to that we have these bungee balls. Right next to that there we've got the Bushbox XL, which is a fold flat stove where you burn twigs. We have here the Yugoslavian mess kit. In there I have a 1 litre water bottle, a pot, a pan as well to cook on, cutlery and a cup. I've also got a pair of gloves there just for my hand protection if I'm doing particularly spiky things. Talking of spikes, we've got these massive 12-inch tent spikes here, which I've not managed to use yet, just because everywhere I've found has had great ground, so I've had those for quite some time and not used them, which is sad. Here I also have my SE knife and fire steel, my Baco Laplander saw, and my trenching trowel, which is a Coughlan's backpacker trowel. And next to that, under here, this is just something for filming, so ignore that. That wouldn't normally be with me. I have my Stanley E-Cycle hip flask and my Calmer Bushcraft Millbank bag. So that is literally a lot of gear and minus food, but I tell you what, there is so much space left in there. Even when it's all packed in there, I could have easily have got 7 days worth of rations in there, easy, no problem, and that'd be eating 3 times a day. So absolutely enough space to hold lots of gear. Okay, I'm going to talk about the features of this particular rucksack. We're going to start with the external features and then move to the interior ones. Obviously, the first exterior feature is that it is a multi-terrain camo pattern. It's Highlander multi-terrain camo, in fact, meaning that you can use this in most scenarios and situations, and you will retain some level of lower visibility, and you'll be able to camouflage yourself slightly better than if you were to have a bright red one, for example. The material itself is a 1000 denier fabric, so it's quite a strong, dense weave. We have, as you can see here, a multitude of molly loops. These molly loops enable you to place any Molly system pack onto them. We have them down there, here, and on the side, so that they're extremely ample, to say the least. On the outside, we also have, on the bottom, drainage holes. Again, always nice to have drainage holes, especially here in the UK and other wet climates. It gets wet, water gets in, it needs to get out in some way, and that's the way it gets out. You'll also notice that there are quick attachment molly points on the bottom here, 4 of them, so you can put your bedroll on that nice and easily, carry it on the bottom. This carries nice and high on the back, so that bedroll will be a nice lumbar support, or at least a comfortable lumbar support, in addition to the pack. Let's flip this round. I'll show you some of the padding. We have padding here on the shoulder straps and on the waist strap. The padding is very nice, very comfortable and very thick. We have the padding here as part of the back air mesh system. That sounds like it's really gimmicky, but I'll actually get into that a bit later on. It sounds gimmicky, but it works very well, in fact. I can't fault it. The accessories are Duraflex material, which reduces your stress points, the stress on the stress points. So the buckles are all Duraflex. The grab handle is Duraflex. Grab handle's a nice feature as well. The zips, I'm just trying to remember what these are called. They're tough number 10 nylon zips. Again, always nice to have. If a bag that's got a zip as its main function of opening and closing, if that zip breaks, the bag becomes somewhat useless, or definitely reduces in its utility. Let's get to the inside of the bag. I'm going to try to bring it up and show you that there's not too much to show, but I'm trying to give you a scale of the size inside of this thing. That is, I'm going to try and put my hand in to show you how deep it goes in. I mean, that's going up now to way past my elbow with my hand touching the bottom, and that is just one open main cavity. There's nothing else in there. The only other thing in there, and it's not actually dividing the cavity, is this mesh pocket. I particularly shove my my emergency things like my medication, my inhaler, my first aid, my emergency blanket, things that I would need to get in a hurry, into there, because I know where they are at all times. In front of this main compartment, there is another large zipped area. I tend to keep my cooking apparatus in there, things to make fire, anything I require to make food in there. It doesn't look like a very big space, but it actually expands to quite a sizable area. Again, very difficult to see on the camera, but I get a lot in there. You've seen earlier. Below that, on the front, so that was that main area. Below that, there is this large oblong area. I keep my long items in there, such as my my 12-inch tent spikes. I keep my knife, my Baco Laplander, anything that's got a bit of size that would be a bit annoying to keep in the main compartment. That's what I keep in there. It's a great little feature, and because it's on the front, it makes things like getting your knife, your tools that you might need frequently, it makes that a lot easier to get to. The 2 side pockets, very much the same. They're not detachable, they are fully fixed. As I mentioned earlier, the molly loops on there. They're a good size, you get your hand in there, probably just past your wrist. For me, some of the best features of this product are the load carrying features and the padding of the pack itself. When you're wearing it, it really does feel very comfortable, and you can just keep walking and walking and walking, and you just don't get tired of wearing it. I mean, I've got packs where they're very comfortable, but after an hour and a half sort of trekking or hiking, you start to feel chafing here and there, in the shoulder, in the lower back, you get aches. But because of the load carrying placement, and it sits quite high on your back, you really do not get those aches that you do with some other packs, especially the store-bought rucksacks that you might buy, you know, in a regular shop, just a 50-litre hiking, camping type rucksack. The air mesh system, I know it sounds gimmicky as anything, doesn't it? And it really does sound gimmicky. And when I looked into this particular rucksack, I thought, air mesh? But it works, right? I'm a guy that perspires a lot. A lot. That's all I can say without getting too gross. So when I have something against my skin like a rucksack, when I take that rucksack off, normally my undergarments are soaking wet with sweat, as is the back of the bag. Now, this hasn't quite cured that, but what it has done is reduce it down so that I literally just have a small line down my back rather than sort of a whole wet patch. So that for me is very beneficial, and it's not something I expected from the air mesh, but it's a very, very good system, and the air circulation does work very well. As I mentioned before, the design of the interior space of the pack has been done very well. You don't have the compartmentalization as you would in some packs, which enables these big expanses of space to carry bulky and unusual kind of shaped items, which is a very, very nice feature. If you're anything like me, I've spent too long sometimes trying to get things to fit and then just going, I won't take that with me, and then you get to the camp and it's the one thing that you think, why did I leave that behind? So this enables you not to sort of have to compromise on what goes with you. The downside to that, in a sense, is that some people might say that the lack of compartmentalization stops you from first of all being organised and being able to find things easily, and secondly stops you from carrying smaller items that may just like get lost down the pack, and that's no good. But that is taken care of by the ample MOLLE webbing on this thing. It really is everywhere. So if you've got small requirement needs, if you have a small space that you want to hold a particular kind of thing, if you want to have a small bag of for your first aid, whatever it is, you know, if you have something small that you want to carry, you don't want to have to root around for it, you just buy a small MOLLE pouch that goes on the outside, and that takes care of that. I mean, it's not like you don't have any space anyway. You've got the side pockets and the internal mesh pocket and that front smaller pocket anyway to hold any smaller items. So you're not short on small space, but if you want more, it's easily added. This bag is great for anyone that enjoys the outdoors. It can be used in many different environments, and it can even be used if you're a prepper or a survivalist, one of those type of guys, and you fear either the zombie apocalypse or the impending World War III that seems to be happening. Then you need your bug out bag, your grab bag. You need to be able to get that bag, get out, and have everything in there. This bag certainly fits that criteria. It also has enough room left over for all your emergency ration packs. It has a high level of comfort as well, as I've mentioned previously. The great thing about the comfort level is that you're not going to get to camp and have to nurse a sore back. And that's due to not just the comfort of the padding, but the positioning of the load carrying positioning that the actual pack has. The other thing I'd like to mention regarding the comfort aspect is the mobility. Sometimes you get a pack and you can't really move your full array of movements. No trouble moving in every direction with this pack. I really think it's managed to marry together both strength and comfort in a very, very powerful way. What do you think about the M.50? Are you going to buy one? Do you have any questions? And what do you want to see next? All of those things, drop them in that comment section down there, and I will always respond. Guys, until the next video, take care. Bye-bye now. Buy this and more at meanandgreen.com.